Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today I want to talk about specialist games from Games Workshop themselves. We've seen in the past couple of, well I say years now, there's been a massive push from GW in the specialised game category. We've had stuff like Kill Team, Necromunda, Blood Bowl, Warcry, and some of the new ones, Aeronautica, Titanicus. Absolutely fantastic games, really good games. I've played Kill Team a couple of times. I really want to get into Aeronautica and Titanicus, but I haven't yet took that dive in. But today's subject is not based on those ones that have already come out. Today's subject is, what would you like to see come from Games Workshop if you had the choice to pitch them, or if you had the choice for them to pick the next game? I have a couple ideas, so let's jump in and let's get talking. Now, my first idea is actually putting it in a setting that we haven't visited before on the tabletop. Now, we've had games set in 40k, we've had games set in the Horus Heresy. What about if we go further back and we actually set a game during the Unification Wars? And before everyone says, whoa, we don't really know that much about the Unification Wars, you'd be surprised on how much lore is out there about the Unification Wars these days. The latest book by Chris Wray featuring Valdor, which is amazing, by the way. I still have to do the spoiler review on that because there's so many talking points. That's set during to the, well, sorry, it's set at the end of the Unification War, should I say. And like I mentioned, there's just so much to talk about. I'm not going to do it in this video because it's going to be spoilerific. But you've got factions like the Thunder Warriors. First thing, Thunder Warriors are amazing. I love everything about the Thunder Warriors. I love their story, how sad it was, how amazing they were, by the way, in combat, how just hulking, massive, bloody beasts they were. Their armor, it just looks absolutely badass with those like little shades on and the little plumes and stuff like that. You have the Custodes, of course. Valdor was around back then. Valdor was, well, I won't say he was in his prime, but it's, you know, the first time Valdor being Valdor. Of course, the Custodes with the Emperor. The Emperor himself, by the way, the Emperor actually took towards the battlefield in the Unification Wars. He was around pew-pewing laser bolts and stuff like that. That goes to show how much, like, the actual fighting was back then for the Emperor to really get seriously involved. And of course you have the first Legion Astartes as well. They obviously came in at the end of stuff, but you could really go out and do like the first prototypes of, you know, their armor and stuff, and maybe, you know, give like characters which we don't really know about now because of course it was so long ago, and most of like the big characters back then were dead by the time they linked up with the Primarchs, by the time the Great Crusade could got set off. So there's really a massive opportunity to do it. And let's not forget, the most important faction is all the enemies on Terra at that time, like the techno-barbarian tribes. Like these guys are just mind-blowingly cool. Like some of the technology that they possessed back then scared Chaos. I've read it in the lore that they had stuff that could just, like, you know, rip the warp apart and stuff. Like Chaos was like, oh boy, nope, none of that, none of this, let's leave this alone. So you just imagine some of the technology and like the weapons and all that kind of awesome stuff you could do. There was a battle where I think it was like 20,000 salamanders got wiped out in a day. This is not like an Isvan or Trap or anything like that. It's just because there was just, the technology was massive. It was like continent moving, you know, destruction stuff. It was just so bloody grimdark and so powerful that even the Emperor of Mankind, after the Unification Wars had happened, had to just lock it away. He was like, nope, we can't use that because that stuff is far too dangerous. That's just how mad and how awesome this setting is. And just harkening back to like the barbarian tribes, there was something that was posted the other day on the Warhammer community website, and I'm going to put it up in the background now. It's this image in the background, and it was, of course, for Necromunda. But as soon as I saw this image, I was like, wow, those guys actually could be in the Unification Wars. I was thinking of actually buying these guys and actually spicing them up and just doing like a little Unification War, like War Tribe. I know it wouldn't really make sense. I could probably never play them or anything like that, just for the rule of cool factor. But I just thought to myself, that is how I picture like Unification barbarian stuff. Maybe a little, you know, a little change here and there, more tech on them, you know, but that kind of just look to him, which Necromunda is capturing at the moment, is just something I would absolutely love to see come to Unification War, and of course spice it up a little bit. Now, again, we're talking about specialist games. You can do this as a specialist game because there's a couple of options. You can do it like Necromunda. You could do it like Kill Team, you know, Legion Astartes, Custodes, Barbarians and stuff like that. But you could also, I think, do it like Aeronautica and Titanicus, because we had these massive, big, hulking machines back then, which, as I mentioned before, like ripped continents apart and all that kind of stuff. So you have the potential to make that happen in those type of game settings. I think it really would be incredible. And as I mentioned at the start about the lore and stuff like that, I know there's probably people out there saying, "Oh yeah, but it's too mysterious and all that kind of stuff." I completely understand that. I get that point of view. I know a lot of people had that with the Horus Heresy and stuff. And for me, when the Horus Heresy came out and it opened it up and it told the stories back then, and we got to have the tabletop game and the models that have come from that, the Primarch models. Valdo, the Custodia stuff, everything attached to the Horus Heresy game has it's just been just amazing. I think it really has been a game changer. I actually do think that because the Horus Heresy has been so successful in the way it has been, that is one of the main reasons for 8th edition, and you're kind of seeing this kind of similarity now between 8th edition and the Horus Heresy in terms of lore, not in terms of gameplay, of course, because they're two different books, but, with, like, squads going back to, like, the Heresy kind of ways, with, like, full heavy squads, Primarchs coming back. Primarchs were a massive seller in the Horus Heresy, and I think GW have seen that and gone, oh, we want our piece of cake, let's try it in 40k. So I do think that when you open these new timescales up, these new eras, I think there's a whole nother interest of people going, oh, this is brand new, let me delve into this. And I think if they applied that to the Unification Wars, I think it would be successful. I actually do think that we will eventually get into the Unification Wars. Maybe not model format, maybe not, but definitely in a book format. I'm seeing it more and more now. They're teasing us a bit by bit. And again, that latest book by Valdo, which is set at the end of the Unification Wars, and some of the stuff they talk about in that really thinks, wow, that could make a really, really cool novel within itself. So hopefully GW will move on to that era soon. And another idea I had, and you'll have to forgive me because it's not a new idea, and I know I said about, new games and stuff, but I've seen this mentioned so many times, and I really want to play it because I never got the chance to play it, is Battlefleet Gothic Armada. Every time I make a video about specialist games, whether it's like new Necromunda stuff, just new Kill Team stuff, there's always comments dedicated to Battlefleet Gothic Armada. GW, when are you going to bring Battlefleet Gothic back? And I have to say, as an Imperial Fist fan who absolutely loves Void Combat, that is one of the really main reasons I chose the Imperial Fist, of course, among other things as well. But they're specializing in Void Combat and just, pounding each other with ships. I was like, yeah, boy, I am riding this train until oblivion. I absolutely love the idea of these 1,000-kilometer long ships just lining up next to each other and just broadsiding the living days until, one just blows up, one cracks apart, one just disappears out of existence. It's just one of those really, really awesome, amazing things that you can have on the tabletop. And I feel so crappy that I never ever got to play it. Yes, I've seen people who still play it, but I don't know anyone really in my area who plays it or who has like a spare, Battlefleet Gothic force, I could jump in and play with. And of course, you always want something that's new rules and stuff like that, because, it keeps the game balanced and everything like that. And of course, new models are always welcome. Imagine, like new proper Space Marine fleets and stuff like that. I was really hoping that with the games, Battlefleet Gothic Armada, the digital games, that it would really open GW's eyes in some type of way, like it did with Total War. I know Total War Warhammer has been a massive success for GW, and I was hoping kind of that domino effect would cross over to Battlefleet Gothic, but I've really heard no talk about it at all. Actually, that's kind of a lie. I have heard talk about it, but this was years and years and years ago. There was talk about Battlefleet Gothic returning, but in the Horus Heresy, which again really piqued my interest, because me as an Imperial Fist fan, I was like, oh boy, I can actually remake the Imperial Fist fleet and purge in Dawn's glorious name. Have the Phalanx. I bloody don't know how big the Phalanx would be on the battlefield, but this just massive space station just hurtling ordnance at like Iron Warrior fleets and stuff like that. I thought that would be incredible. But really, when you look at it in like, just now, I don't think setting it in the Horus Heresy would be the best idea, because you're kind of backing yourself into a corner, because you can only do legions. Whereas if you do it in obviously 40k settings, you have the options then to do Space Marines, the Imperial Navy, Orcs, Necrons, Tyranids, Eldar, Tau. You include a lot more people into the circle of players, because not everyone likes to play Space Marines. I get it. Yes, I'm a massive Space Marine boy. I love my loyalist boys to the Emperor, but not everyone feels that way. People like to play Xenos factions and other factions as well. So I do think if they did bring that game back, I think it would be an absolute winner. I really, really would. I think so many people would get into it. I would buy like so many stock GW. I'm putting my hand up like I'm in class at the moment. I would literally buy so much of that stuff just to make a Space Marine fleet, paint it yellow, and just purge in Dawn's bloody glorious name. And on the subject of old games getting remade, you could say the same for stuff like Epic. Again, I never got to play Epic. I've always loved the Epic kind of scale because it's absolutely epic. It's just epic 40k. That's all it is. You know, just lines of like movement trays of tanks, men and stuff like that. Really, really incredible. And also Inquisitor. For those of you who don't know, the Inquisitor model, scale model, that was a bit bigger. I was really hoping with GW and the quality of their sculpts that they would do like a new type of Inquisitor game, because oh boy, imagine some of the stuff they can make now. Like some of the sculpts we're getting now in like the mini format now and the details you can put on them. Imagine what they could do if they just bump that up the scale. Oh my holy days, I'd just be crying to the throne, because I think they can make some glorious, absolutely glorious stuff. Alright, Chaperoonios, that is me done for another video. Thank you for coming, thank you for watching. As always, please post below what kind of specialist game would you like GW to do. If you had a choice, of course, this is all theoretical. This is not like, oh, it's confirmed, it's coming. It's nothing like that at all. If you had a choice of letting GW know, or, you know, if you just if someone knocked on your door now, hello, yes, I'm from the GW HQ. What specialist game would you like for us to bring back, or what specialist game would you like us to do next? Just go along with it and just talk about it in the comment section, and we can have a nice little chat about it down there. Right, thank you for coming, thank you for watching. As always, I'll see you in a bit. Have a great day, and bye-bye.